Well, good morning and happy tip of the Grand Sound Advice coffee cup to you. You never know when a character's going to jump out of your mouth, so there's a little bit of Irish accent for you. I don't know where that came from. Happy Tuesday, June 29th, tip of the Grant Sound Advice coffee cup to you. Last week I started talking about getting started in voiceover. And one, kind of the three critical things are your equipment, and where you record, and not in that order. In fact, I reversed them kind of on purpose, right? Where you record controls everything about your sound. Now, we all have different places in our houses we could record, but not everybody can afford to create a studio not unlike this, in their house. I was very fortunate. The house that I live in is a brick house sitting up on a hill, well away from everything. So the environment just generally around me for 400 feet is quiet. I've got a retired neighbor, so that takes care of another 300 feet that way, and there's 80 acres of farmland behind me. So, other than a Jake brake truck going down the road 600 feet away, occasionally, I have very little ambient sound outside the house. I redid all of my windows last year because they needed redone, not for a sound booth. So I've got pretty good windows, so that again helps attenuate some of the sound that comes through the windows. And if it ever gets really bad, there's strategies for blocking that. So now we're down to the inside space. I hear people talk a lot about soundproofing their house or soundproofing their room, and know that unless you've got a lot of money, you're not going to soundproof anything. Um, the level that's required to get to in this business is about a -60 and lower sound floor. Now, sound floor is basically kind of what you hear if nothing else is going on. In other words, right now, if I didn't talk and you looked at my sound meter, would it be -60 or lower? -62 is better than -60, -64. It gets quieter. If you want to know what 120 decibels sounds like, go start your lawnmower. It's about there. Screaming is around 100, I think, and then it goes down and down and down and down. Normal conversation, and then you get into the room itself or the recording space. So you want to get that as low as you can. And people spend millions building what's called an anechoic chamber. And I don't have my anechoic chamber background up here today, but it's literally a room that has been sound attenuated to a level that when you go in and the doors are closed and everything is happening, you can actually hear the blood pumping past your eardrum, and it freaks people out. So I'll get into this more and more and more, but having a room, all the best sound equipment in the world sometimes can actually hurt you because better equipment picks up more sound. Lousy microphone maybe only pick up half the noise. So in some ways, bad equipment, in quotes, is better than great equipment until you get your sound space taken care of. So I'm going to go through a couple weeks of different things to think about or consider. But before you go ridiculous OCD on sealing outlets and having air leak through an outlet, if you don't have the rest of the space, I've got, I think, something like 15 sound panels in here that just stop sound. They don't absorb anything, but they block sound waves and mitigate all that, as well as bass traps and things like that. So we'll talk more about that over the upcoming weeks. So just know that before you get all worried about whether you have a great voice, it probably doesn't matter. We'll get to this again later, but you have a voice that everybody listens to normally in conversation, so your voice is probably okay. You may or may not need training to make your reads better. Being able to read is good, and we'll get to that later. And all the equipment in the world, you can spend $50,000 on recording equipment, but if your space sucks, you're not going to go very far. So right then I just stopped because I heard a truck go past. Now you probably didn't hear the truck. I hear it because I'm facing, but my room is set up so that you don't. Anyhow, that's just one example. So Happy Tuesday. I hope you learned a little bit about starting in the voiceover world, or at least things we consider all the time. If you need any help, well, first, like and subscribe to the channel, because then you get all kinds of great information, right? Like and subscribe if you would. Share this with a friend that may be considering voiceover work. But happy Tuesday. Have a great day. I hope that your world is well. I got to get to some recording. So have a great day. See you soon.